What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from dieselcrew.com. Of course, you know, call me Napalm. I've had a good run with deadlift lately. I'm hoping that run continues, and it seems to have caught the eye of Ryan. So he's got a question today that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to talk exactly what I'm doing to answer Ryan's question. But I'm also going to go even further on what I feel is even more important as far as the success that I've luckily and thankfully been seeing on the deadlift. Before we get into that, I don't have anything to offer you for deadlift, but my approach to deadlift is conjugate training, and I do have a report on overhead press using the conjugate method. So when I set out to pursue conjugate training for the majority of my strength training, I noticed there wasn't a lot of information out there about using the conjugate system for the overhead press. So I put something together along those lines, and you can take the principles in this report that I've designed for press training, overhead press training, and if you're working on deadlifts, go ahead and run through the same exact process. So if you want that free report, put press in the comments section below, just the word press, that'll be perfect, and I will get the link to you to download that free report. Now, let's look at the question from Ryan that he has for us today.
What do you do for back and quad strength to increase the deadlift?
All right, Ryan, thanks a lot for sharing that. First off, let's go right into what I've been doing for back. My two primary back exercises, I would say, are good mornings with a safety bar and waiter's bows with a 150-pound med ball. Now I'm getting into the region where I'm consistently hitting 10 and more reps with that waiter's bow, with that 150-pound med ball. So I'm considering either adding weight to my 150-pound sandbag or starting to do waiter's bows with my 230-pound sandbag. Because it's gotten a little too easy to do the 150. And the only time that I get less than 10 reps is when I've already done other posterior chain work. So I think it's time to increase the weight there in some way. It's real important that I point out that I'm not doing anything dynamic for my lower back. So I'm not doing anything where I'm losing my arch and then regaining it. Okay, so it's nothing like this. Instead, it's stuff that I'm pivoting at my hip, and I'm working my lower back isometrically. And really, your lower back is mostly working isometrically during the deadlift anyway. So I think this applies. But I'm not even thinking of this as a lower back exercise. I'm thinking of these good mornings and waiter's bows as something to train the entire posterior chain, which I'm focusing on the glutes and the hamstrings primarily, with some lower back in there, of course. But those are my two exercises that I concentrate on. I alternate those every week, and they've worked out really well for me. As far as quads, I'll tell you what I do for quads, but I don't think quads is playing any role at all in the increases that I've seen in my deadlift. And I'll go into that in a little more detail. However, I do incorporate a ton of squat variations and front squat variations. Not every single week, but they're in the program. What I do on a more weekly basis is belt squats, which I just bought about, I think it was October of last year. I just bought a belt squat machine. Do that just about every week. Hip thrusts are just about every single week as well as a one work set of RDLs. So again, the belt squat is a lot of quad and hips. The hip thrust is like all hips, all glutes, and RDLs, lots more posterior chain, with some lower back in there as well, of course. Once a month, I'll go to once a month at most. Honestly, it's not even once a month, but I try to get to the high school gym where I also have a membership because they have a lot of the lower body machines there. So I'll do leg press, leg extension, leg curl, and the donkey kick machine over there in order to get a little variety in there for my lower body. Guys, I am not a bodybuilder. I do not pay attention to like a balance between like quad size and hamstring and all the ratios and stuff. I just don't. I train the power lifts. That's what I do. And that's my main emphasis. So the hypertrophy there is lacking because I do not put the time in. I just don't have the time to dedicate to the bodybuilding stuff. So, but again, I don't think quads has been anything of any importance whatsoever for my deadlift. I'll tell you what that is in just a second. I just want to go through, make sure I've covered everything. Remind you about the press. If you want the press report, put press in below, and I'll get that to you. It'll be a link. You'll be able to download it, and it's a PDF that you can read on your phone, on a laptop, whatever. What's mattered most to me, guys, aside from the conjugate system working so well for me, is technique. And the biggest one, just one most biggest thing was, instead of starting the bar against my shins, I actually moved it so it's probably about 4 inches away from my shins. This was something that I got from Anthony Oliveira in the winter. I want to say it was like December of 20. No, I guess it was February of 23. Attended a seminar in Williamsport, and he talked about doing an eccentric with a fairly heavy deadlift and seeing where it set down. And as it happens, the bar doesn't set down right against your shins. It sets out away from the shins. And he was saying that where that bar sets down, that's actually where it should start also. So since really buying into that and starting with the bar a little bit further away, I've found that it really enables me to get more bars off the floor. And because it's a more optimal angle, that bar continues up. And, there could be, it could be allowing for a little bit better leg drive off the floor, which will come from the quads. But if that's the case, it's because of that technical adjustment and not because of any work that I've done for the quads. So right there, that's probably the most important thing for me, as far as a change that I've made, aside from just going all in on conjugate training. So I hope I've answered your question. I've definitely given you everything that I'm doing for the body parts you asked about, but maybe there's a little bit more to it. So if you're kind of stuck and you think that quads is the answer, maybe it's not. Maybe you need to transition to more posterior chain work, or even make a slight technical change in your deadlift that will lead to like an explosion in your deadlift. I think before making this change, I was at 565 or 570 on my conjugate deadlift, on my conventional deadlift. And then it's been 5 and 10 pound increases every time I test the conventional deadlift. So that edging the bar away just a few inches has been huge for me. So I hope this has been helpful. Give it one of these. Be sure to subscribe. And don't forget, press in the comments section. I'll get you that free report. All the best in your training. Take care.